Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome in. My name is Bradley, also known as the Swim Coach, and today we're looking at Game Week 23. Which fixtures to look out for, which players to look out for, and which players to avoid in Game Week 23. So for now, ladies and gentlemen, if you do like this video, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It'd be much appreciated. And let's get into this video. So we did say we're going to start off with the fixtures. So we have a few games on Saturday the 24th. As you can see, the deadline is a 11 a.m. deadline, UK time. So please make sure you get your team selecting, your formation right, which players you want on the bench, and which order as well. So we start off with a lunchtime kickoff. It is a 12:30 kickoff between West Ham and Sunderland. Then we go into three o'clock kickoffs. We have Burnley versus Spurs. We have Fulham, versus Brighton. Then we have Man City versus Wolves. Round off the Saturday at 5:30. We have Bournemouth versus Liverpool. And then we go on to the Sunday where we have three 2 o'clock kickoffs. Brentford versus Nottingham Forest. Crystal Palace versus Chelsea. Newcastle versus Aston Villa. And probably the biggest game of the weekend, the mighty Arsenal versus Manchester United at 4:30. And then to round it off on the Monday night, we have Everton versus Leeds United. And that is an 8 o'clock kickoff. So they are your fixtures. As I said, the outstanding fixture there is the Arsenal versus Manchester United game at the Emirates. So I think that's the big key one. You've got a few London. Well, you've got one other London game. You've got Crystal Palace versus Chelsea. West Ham versus Sunderland could be an interesting one, with West Ham having a bit of a form at the moment, getting a good result against Spurs. Sunderland have struggled a little bit in recent times. So that could be an interesting one. Man City game against Wolves, especially with Man City losing in the Champions League midweek. Wolves having a good little run themselves at the moment, getting 5 points in the last 3 games. The other outstanding fixture, I think, in here is that Newcastle Aston Villa game. I think that's a key one, where players are where they are in the league and all that lot. And if you do have a little look at the league table, you can have a little fiction. There you go. You can see Villa there, Newcastle down here. But if Newcastle win, okay, they got 36 points, depending on results going their way. They could go from 8th to the 4th. Same if you look at someone like Brighton can jump up a few places if results go there. So there's a lot of things here that people got to look at. The league is very, very tight. Clubs can jump big time. And I think there's going to be a lot of, I wouldn't say shocks, but a lot of points getting taken away from each other. Just like what happened last weekend. Now, for me, I am a bit surprised that Man City players are on the top players to be taken out of. Now, are a lot of people going from Foden to Simeo? Potentially. They do get a bit money less. Now, for me personally, I actually have 4 Man City players in my team, because of Gahey moving. So if you did have Simeo in your team, Gahey and 3 other Man City players before the transfers came in, you can have 5 Man City players in your team, which is crazy. especially against Wolves this week, which for some people could be a bit of a shock. Um, Church, uh, Kirk is, I can never pronounce his name properly. Ryan Cherky has come away recently with a bit of okay, a bad form, but good form beforehand. But as you can see, does really well when Man City do win. But against Wolves, should be all right. They do then have Spurs away, but that's at Spurs, so Spurs don't really win at home, so it's fine. Um, Saka's another surprising one, but I think that's due to a lot of rotational um, things that are going on at Arsenal. So it's quite hard to pick Arsenal players at the moment because they're trying to. I think what's trying to happen is because we've got Arsenal have got so many decent players. They're trying to rotate a lot during the game. So sometimes they may not get the full 90 minutes. They're going to get about 60 to 70 minutes. So I think that's where people are going to look out for. Um, for me personally, after this next game week, you would probably look at getting someone from Manchester United. That's my option. Probably not this game week because they've got Arsenal, could be a bit of a struggle. But you never know with their new manager at the moment. Um, Cunha is a bit of surprise that he's gone out. Um, but for me, I do like the other United players at the moment. But if you look here, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Man City players in the top, what, 12? So that's a bit of a shock and a half. Especially, as I said, they've got Wolves. Um, Now, O'Reilly has been not doing well. Simeo just moved, so I don't understand that. But if you look, Simeo's got 100,000, 102,000. If we go transfers in, okay, there's there's 186 players that bought him in. So me, I don't understand that. For me personally, yes, bringing in Bruno Fernandes, they're good options, but I would probably wait until after the Arsenal game, as I've already said. Thiago's good, but if I remember rightly, I don't like the fixtures coming up, um, especially with Villa away, Newcastle away. That could be an interesting one. Arsenal at home, maybe, um, but again, Arsenal have got a good record at the moment. So after the Arsenal game, you've got a couple, and then they've got Bournemouth, which could be still a tricky one. But then they've got a nice little run here. But I don't like their last 3 games, to be honest, with Brighton. Brentford, Man City, Crystal Palace, Liverpool. And that Man City Liverpool game are both away. And even the United game is away as well. So I would say from Feb to mid-April, good. But after that, you've got to be watching out for. Enzo, good shout, especially with those fixtures coming up. Chelsea do have a good load of fixtures. And then it comes to the Arsenal game at the Emirates. But up until Feb, you got a good shout. I will personally take some Chelsea players right now. Chabla again, Arsenal. Burt's is starting to get a bit of form. But look at their fixtures. Bournemouth away. Newcastle at home. City at home. Sunderland away. Sunderland very good at home at the moment. Forest away. So they've, they've got some hard fixtures coming up. But after that Forest game, they've got some reasonable games until Man United, Chelsea in midweek, near the end of the season. Villa, second to last game. So Yeah, you could probably use some Liverpool players right now. For me, also, James Tarkowski is doing quite well. If when I have to do my subs and I lose some of my one of my Manchester City players, Tarkowski is one of the players that I have been looking at um, to replace or put in, should I say? But again, I don't like their fixtures coming up. So, well, up to Feb, I do. After that, no. So it's a bit of a tricky one when to bring them in. Um, for me, someone like uh, Timbers to come in. Um, Saliba is a good option at the moment as well. Um, Benley, who's very cheap at 5.2. That's a good option to have. But as I said earlier, some of the fixture or some of the rotational stuff for Arsenal is getting switched around. So you're looking out for that. Um, yeah. To be careful. I think Arsenal are going to do well, but their rotational is going to cost a lot of people on their FPL points. Manchester United doing really well. I would see how they get on game week 24 against Fulham and then put in some others. I think if they win against Fulham, they could go on a 5-game winning streak. So keep an eye out for those Manchester United players as well. Liverpool players, love by very getting there, okay, good. But some of their values is not what we like. Bit too much expense trying to fit teams in. So have a look around there, think about how you plan it, and just go from there. Gabriel is a good player to have. Now, actually, do you have captain? For me, do you have Haaland? Maybe. Do you have one of the Man City midfielders? Probably. I think Man City midfielders will get a lot of defensive contribution. They'll get a lot of passing. They will get an assist. I reckon it's going to be 2-1, 3-1. So you probably lose out on your clean sheet. But that's what I probably think for that game. So for now, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. And good luck for game week 23. Goodbye from now.